Hey everyone. Today's topic, pay attention to what angers you. Anger can actually be an incredibly beneficial emotion that can improve our lives over time because it can usually help you figure out one of two things, or maybe even both. The first one being it can help you figure out something about yourself that you can improve, that you can work on, or it can reveal something about your environment that needs to change or that you should just straight up avoid. So anger is a very powerful tool for making your life better. It's something that we should all pay more attention to, which means develop self-awareness. You need to know when you're feeling angry in the first place, and then stop and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What caused it? What triggered you to feel that way? Is it maybe someone else? Somebody said something about you? Is it your job? Is it really frustrating? Is it traffic that you're sitting in all the time? Is it the city you live in? And just figure out what is causing you to feel the way that you do. And then go beyond that and ask whether this is something that you need to work on yourself because you're dealing with an external thing that you can't change, or whether or not it's something external causing you to feel that way that you may want to consider changing or finding a solution to. In the case of it being like, maybe it's the city you live in, it doesn't mesh with your personality, well, move somewhere else. If it's your job, find a new job. If it's your relationship, you may want to find a better one with someone who's more compatible with you. Same thing goes for your friends and your family members. So just always useful to ask yourself those questions. And if it does end up being the case that you are the issue here, that you haven't worked on, let's say, your patience or your temper in general, your ability to control your anger, then of course explore that. Figure out what you can do to work on that, to grow as a person and not let your anger control you. Like meditation is a great route to take here. It helps you better manage that gap between feeling your anger and then acting on it, because this is what so often gets people into trouble. They feel angry and then they immediately act on it, like throwing things or saying mean things or doing other bad stuff, and then they regret it afterwards. So if you meditate more often, it can help you feel that anger and then decide not to act on it, because instead you'll just be able to remain calm, focus on your breathing, and let the anger subside instead of immediately acting on it and doing something you regret. Therapy is also a great resource here, of course, as well, but there are plenty of other things you can do, like picking up hobbies, finding outlets for your stress and that sort of thing. So that's something worth exploring. But in the case of it being something external causing you to consistently feel angry, yet again, explore that. What are your options here? What can you do to solve the situation? Do you need to move somewhere else entirely because the place you're living is not good for you? Like, let's say you're constantly in traffic all the time, that makes you mad. Maybe you should move somewhere that's got a smaller population so you won't have that issue. If your job is making you angry, of course, find another job. And I know people can get so married to the jobs they work, but if it's detracting from your health over time, like, is it really worth it to stay? Life is short, guys. I don't believe chasing money like that and putting it before your own mental health is the right thing to do. But hey, that's a decision everyone should make on their own. That's just my opinion on it. And then of course, your relationships. If you're in a romantic relationship with someone and they consistently make you angry, why are you with them? Or could that even be on you again? Maybe your patience and temper is just not great, so maybe that's something you could work on. But if it isn't, if it's your partner and they haven't worked on themselves and they refuse to work on themselves, why stay with them? There are plenty of other people out there. Find someone who's a better match for you. Same thing goes for your friends. You don't need to keep around friends who constantly trigger you, because can you really even call them friends if they're doing that to you, right? And then of course, it goes for your family as well. Especially because once you get old enough, you don't really need to live with your immediate family should they be the ones causing that. And if it's extended family, well, you don't need to talk to them, right? Extended family usually isn't going to be as impactful on your life as your immediate family. So there are plenty of ways to avoid them entirely. So just find solutions. The reason I'm even bringing this up is because, as you would guess, I had an experience with this myself earlier in the day where I was actually driving home and trying to find a parking spot around my apartment, because there's so many people who live around here that there are days where you come home and it's impossible to find a spot close to where I live. So I end up having to walk like 5 minutes or more just to get to my apartment. So that alone is not fun. I'm tired of it after living here for like 2 years in this apartment. It's just annoying. But so prefacing already, my patience has worn rather thin living in this place after 2 years of dealing with it over and over again. So that is one thing that can suck over time. Like, of course, the longer you're in a situation that has that capacity to trigger you, it will erode your patience over time, and you will get to a point where it's more difficult for you to control your anger. And that's exactly why I recommend finding solutions if it is environment-based, because in this case, it's environment-based. All my friends know me really well. I actually don't even know if any of them have seen me angry. We've even talked about this before, where they were even trying to remember that. I didn't even prompt them. They were somehow we're just talking about the way I am with my emotions, and my friends were like, have we ever even seen you angry? No, like some of them have known me for almost a decade at this point, and they've never seen me angry. So I don't typically get angry easy, like at all. I'm usually grounded the way I am in these videos. So it takes a lot to get me angry. So when I find myself getting angry easily, I immediately know there's a problem in my life that's usually external, because I've worked on myself enough where it's usually not on me. Sometimes it is, but not often. And in this case, it was because of another driver who ended up stealing a parking spot that I was eyeing. This driver was actually behind me. We were going down a street and the parking spot was on the opposite side, so it required a 3-point turn to get to it. And I just, for whatever reason, made the mistake of going to a driveway past the parking spot, and then I was going to make my 3-point turn, and I was in the process of it, but the guy behind me ended up choosing a driveway much closer to it, which I should have done, but hey, oh well, hindsight's 20/20, right? And he ended up stealing the spot. And I know he couldn't read my mind and know that I was going to choose it. He probably could once he saw me starting the 3-point turn, so if he's intelligent enough, he probably knew he was a dick for what he did. But whatever, I don't know, I can't put all the blame on him. But regardless, it made me very mad. Like really mad. Like I was gripping my steering wheel, just like pissed off, like wanting to say things to him, wanting to even really fight him over it. And I caught myself and I'm like, holy crap, like this does not happen to me often. Why the hell am I getting this worked up over something so stupid as a parking spot? And that's exactly what is revealed to me. And I've known this for a while. I've even talked about it in prior videos. If you followed me for like a year or so, you know that I've mentioned this before. But yeah, it revealed to me that I don't like living in the place that I do. And I don't even just mean this apartment that I'm in. I mean the city, the state, all of it. I'm just tired of living in a place that's so densely populated. I can't stand it anymore. Other people just piss me off much quicker now than they used to, because I used to have all the patience in the world, and now I just don't feel like I belong here. I never really have, truth be told. Like even growing up, I didn't quite feel like I fully connected with a lot of my peers while growing up. And that's not me trying to sound special. It's just the truth. I didn't feel like I fit in because everybody just seemed so superficial and focused on things that I didn't care about, that weren't important to me. And yeah, so I've kind of always felt that way. But before, I just had a lot more patience. I don't know if things have changed over time. I'm for sure know that more people have moved into these areas, so they are becoming more and more populated over time, and the issues are getting worse. But I've hit a point where my patience is almost completely worn thin. And yeah, part of that is on me, but at the same time, it's my own fault for staying in a place that is doing this to me, right? Like, it's one thing to constantly try to keep steeling yourself and resolving yourself against all the BS that you have chosen to put up with, but at some point you have to ask yourself, why am I choosing to put up with this crap? Why? Well, what's the benefit of it? And that's where I'm at, because I don't want to stay here anymore. Like, the more that I stay, there's so many little things that annoy me over time. In fact, one of my close friends was even asking me the last time we were all together hanging out in our friend group, he was asking me why I want to move out of California. He was asking some of the negative things that are making me do this. And I was thinking about it, and so many were coming to mind that I just told him, I was like, you know what, dude? Let me answer this at a later date, because I don't want to be a buzzkill, because I could name off so many reasons why I want to move out of California, and they're all bad. So I don't want to kill the vibe, because yeah, there's like very few reasons why I would want to stay, and what they really are is the friends that I have in the area, that's the most important one. So my relationships here. But then beyond that, it's really only like the weather and the ocean, and that's kind of it. There's not much else that makes me want to stay here. Like, there really isn't. So yeah, I'm just at that point. And today really made me realize that I need to ramp up working on getting out of here, because I should not be staying somewhere that allows me to have no patience enough to get really worked up over small things. Like, I shouldn't be wanting to beat a guy up because he stole a parking spot that I was eyeing. Like, I get that's not a cool thing for people to do in general, but still, I shouldn't feel the need to beat him up over it. Like, there's a problem there. It shows that, yeah, I have like no patience anymore when it comes to dealing with other people. And even when I got into my apartment after that happened, I caught myself thinking like, man, I hate people now. And I'm like, that's not me. That's not me at all. Like, even to think that way, what Amorso was saying, and I even translated it after I had the thought, I was like, this is because I'm tired of just dealing with all the people in this area who don't care about others, who just aren't kind and respectful because maybe they didn't learn it, or just because of that psychological phenomena where when a bunch of people are in a small area, it makes them not care about each other as much anymore because there's so many people. It's like, how the hell can you have the mental energy to be kind and respectful towards everyone you encounter? It can literally be draining to be a good person when you live in a big city. So a lot of people just choose to not give two craps about anyone but themselves, and they do really messed up things, and they put others in danger on the road, like tailgating and weaving in and out of traffic and speeding like crazy, and they just don't care. And you get people cutting others in line at grocery stores or leaving their carts in the parking spots. And now if you want to park in that spot, you have to get out of your car, move the cart because that fool was too lazy to do it themselves, and then you can finally park. And just so much that I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with people who don't care about others. So I know you can't escape that. But I also know, statistically speaking, that if you move somewhere with a smaller population, there will be less people like that. Way less. Especially if it's like a smaller town, because then, for the most part, you'll mitigate a lot of that psychological phenomena that I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And that's why I would say it's really important to pay attention to what angers you, because it really can help you figure out life changes you should make, whether it is working on yourself and your patience and whatnot, or just getting out of situations that constantly trigger you or are bad for your mental health, situations that are causing you to decline over time. Because my friends know I have like some of the craziest mental resilience out there. It's the fact that I'm starting to get beaten down here and living in this place is not a good sign. I need to get out, because what the hell, man? Like, anywhere else I was living that wasn't a big city, I wouldn't be having this issue at all. I'd be right back to my grounded old self. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I truly hope that this video has been helpful for you, even amidst sharing a lot of personal details about myself, and hopefully you got something out of it. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like on it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!